where are we, July, Public Works meeting to order. And up first we have Jolene with solid waste.
Okay, you have the station report in front of you. I also supplied you with some graphs, just to give you an idea of what our tonnage is. And
Hold on a minute, I didn't share.
Wait a minute.
These poor people don't know what they're. Just one sec, sorry, Jolene.
Oh, that's okay.
You don't have it up either. We were asleep at the wheel, we've been sitting here so long. Okay, where are her graphs?
Can you guys see that?
No,
Yes.
Kelly,
Yeah, we can see it.
Okay,
I can't.
so you go into graphs first? Jolene?
These,
That's the station.
is that right?
That's the station report
Okay.
every month.
What other graphs were you, oh,
Did you get them when I sent them?
So,
Yeah,
Oh,
right
There
here.
you go.
There we go.
these?
So there was some graphs that we did up just to give you some idea of the increase in recycling and garbage that we have been dealing with since the COVID hit. In addition, I gave you some budget numbers so that you can see what the increases are. So far, we're still within budget. I think we're gonna be okay until, I'll have a better idea in September to see where we are, but this will give you an idea of what material we've been having come into the stations. Going back to the agenda, operations at the stations, we are back to our normal hours. We started the roll-off business and have been extremely busy. Due to some complaints that we've had or some concerns with the residents regarding our attendants not wearing masks, we implemented some new policy changes. Last week, Highway was kind enough to come up and we installed white lines approximately 11 to 12 feet from the compactor. We've instructed the attendants at the stations to stay back behind that area for residents to drop off their garbage and then for them to pick it up unless they were asked by someone that needed assistance. Facial masks are a must at all times, which we have been doing, but I think what's happening with the public is they're having some issues regarding realizing 6 feet is 6 feet. So that's why we went 11 to 12 feet, just to make sure that there's no miscommunication. When they're in the pole barns, as you can imagine, over the weekend, it's been about 110 degrees under them. I've instructed the attendants to leave the pole barn when the public comes in, stay close to the proximity, but not in their area. Again, unless there are questions. So I guess we've had a pretty successful weekend as we haven't had any COVID hotline violations. Household hazardous waste, the new date is going to be October 31st. We have it on the website and we'll be sending it out to the clerks probably next month. Copake landfill, we're still waiting from the contaminated sampling that was done at Copake. The state hasn't gotten back to me as to the results. Originally, they said it would be 30 days, but we're still waiting. Hudson landfill, the gate at the Hudson landfill had to be replaced as someone cut the chain and then removed the gate right off the post. That's along the access road. So Highway assisted us in replacing that. And they'll be mowing after August 15 when the grassland birds are done nesting. The budget, the draft budget has been submitted to Ron Caponero. And hopefully we'll be meeting with him if he has any questions before presenting it next month. I do have one resolution request in front of the board or the committee. It's authorization to fill one part-time labor position in the solid waste department at a grade 11. Starting salary is $16.12 an hour. Whereas this position is necessary, right before COVID hit, 2 part-time positions actually transferred to the facilities department and we were unable to fill them. But based on the COVID, we've been working the guys the extended hours and I'm gonna have some guys that are not gonna be able to work towards the end of the year, so I do need at least this one position filled.
This did go through the budget and
It
position.
did go through the budget, yeah. This is also somebody that retired from highway that we're bringing back so that fit into Tony's ability to cut back his staff as well too.
They need a motion.
So I need a
This will
motion.
save some overtime, won't it, too? This should save some overtime?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Jolene's limited as to how many hours some of these people can work, period, and they've already worked that, so we're gonna be out of staff.
Good. Okay. I'll make a
Move it right
motion.
back.
Motion, second,
Right.
all in favor,
Aye.
opposed?
Okay, and that's all I have unless you have questions.
Joe, I have a question. Kathy. Can you hear me?
Yep.
Yep.
Okay. In Greenport, I've been getting a lot of complaints from different residents that garbage is being picked up and people are walking around and there's no stickers on the bags. Or they've got this, it's the same old thing. The yellow stickers are on the big green bags, and at the beginning, when this happened, when nobody could get the bag, sure, pick up the garbage. You're not going to leave it out there on the street. What can I do?
Okay, I did talk to someone from your office, and I have instructed the guys that unless the bags have stickers on them, we're not to pick it up.
Okay,
It would be almost impossible though for our guys to check every color of the stickers to.
that's okay, yeah.
Yeah, because it would take us probably 2 days to pick up, versus the 1 day. You and I can talk about it if you want to give me a call tomorrow in the office,
Okay,
okay?
all right, yeah, thank you. I didn't know you had spoken to anybody. They had come to me and talked to me about it, but they didn't tell me they had spoken to you. Okay, thank you.
But we can discuss it further and come up with a strategy.
All right. Thank you.
Yep.
Any other questions for Jolene? That will move on to highway.
Right. Work schedule, usual mowing, transfer stations, airport, roadways, landfills. Been doing a lot of ditch and culvert maintenance, roadside, sign maintenance, equipment maintenance, some minor bridge repairs and some maintenance. Site work at the fire training tower. We've pretty much wrapped up what we were doing there. We are still going up pretty much daily to water the hydro seeding that we put in because it hasn't rained a whole lot. There's some guide rail repair on County Route 28A. That was from an auto accident. Clearing brush or site distance. We began replacing the guide rail on County Route 13 in the town of Chatham. That began 2 weeks ago, I believe. That's moving along pretty well. We completed just under a mile, just about 0.78 miles of paving on County Route 10 in the town of Deconic. That was to complete that road that was started last year. We completed 1.5 miles of paving on County Route 8 in the town of Livingston. And I just got a text from Jimmy about 5 minutes ago that we completed the paving on County Route 7 in Copake, which was the last little stretch, about 0.8 miles from Dinehart Bridge to where Center Hill Road comes out. From there, we got 2.5 miles or 2.1 miles of paving on County Route 27A, which will probably begin next week. And we also began our hot mix patching of some of our county roads, some of our bad spots. That began this week as well. Personnel. We have one employee out on a leave of absence, non-furlough related leave of absence. 3 employees out on their voluntary 2-month furlough, and 1 part-time laborer, which is one of our watchmen, has resigned or has retired for a second time, I should say, hasn't really resigned. That's it for personnel. Do you want me to discuss them 2 things, new business, Ron, and move on to the resolution request first?
Yeah, we needed to bring that watchman to the next, you got that set up to bring to the next
Yeah, I didn't know if you want to
Committee or
discuss
whatever
it
it
all
is today.
tonight, but I can bring it
Yeah,
to.
yeah, but why don't you go through it with this committee,
Okay.
just to,
Basically, the watchman's position, it's the part-time labor, much like Jolene was saying, these guys, they can only work a set number of hours each year. We have 8 positions, and we had 8 positions in one floater. And these are the guys that work when we're not there. So basically from this time of year, from 3 o'clock to 11 o'clock in the evening, 11 o'clock till 6 a.m. And then on the weekends, it's scheduled around the clock. So it's a set number of hours. So no matter how many of these guys we have, they're still working the same amount of hours. We're now down to 7 because the one just retired, and we don't have the per diem spot either. So what happens is the other guys have to make up for those shifts that need to be covered. By filling the spot, you'll get somebody in there that'll be starting out with the 15, 10, and 5%. So for the next 3 years, you'll actually be saving a little bit of money. The issue we have is now with just the 7 guys in there, if one of them sick or away on vacation, now it's down to 6, and we got to cover yet again whatever spots are open.
Are we
Few of
paying
them are-
overtime, Tony?
No, there's no overtime in those positions whatsoever.
Okay,
So really the only issue you run into is as you get towards the end of the year for the guys, like some of them already normally have 3 shifts. Like we have one guy that works a Saturday, Sunday, and then he works 1 shift during the week. And he's now working one of those other shifts that's open. So now he's working 4 shifts a week. We got another guy that's working 3 shifts a week. And what happens is as these guys take vacation or if one of them's out sick, and we've had instances in the past where we've had extended sick time for some of these guys where they either get hurt or they fall ill. So no, there's never any overtime with it. Like I said, it's the same amount of hours. So you either got 6 guys working, and I had that all written down somewhere. I had all this stuff broken down for you, but I got the wrong sticky note. But you kind of get the point. It's the same amount of hours. So whether 6 guys are working it or 7 guys are working or 8 guys are working it, there's no benefits involved. It's still part-time. So it's really budget neutral.
just having the bodies to cover it.
It's just having the bodies to cover it, because it is, the Hudson Yards, it's a 24/7 operation. There's agencies in and out of there all day and all night getting fuel. The ambulances, fire department, sheriff's office, so.
Do
and
we
then, of
need
course,
them during the
overtime,
day, though?
that's- well, year round, that's where all the phone
So-
calls come into.
No, Jimmy, he's gonna bring this to the next budget, salary review committee,
Yep.
whatever we call that committee today now. But I just thought we'd talk about it with this committee tonight, but.
No, I was just wondering what's the, I'm sorry, I didn't hear what the hours were. Is it all day, 24/7?
No, well, during the summer, we work from 6 to 3. So at 3 o'clock, the first shift comes in,
Right,
first watchman shift, and he works till 11. The
okay,
next guy comes at 11, he works till 6.
okay,
So during the week, you have the 2 shifts, the second shift and the third shift.
okay,
On the weekends, from 3 o'clock on until, of course, 6 o'clock Monday morning, it's covered.
right. Okay, thank you, Tony.
Yep, you're welcome. And like I said, all the phone calls, all the complaints, everything that comes in after hours comes into that watchman and it's forwarded on to me from there. And in the wintertime, it's forwarded on to whatever assistant general foreman is on call.
Okay,
Okay,
That's it on that?
Yeah.
Okay. Real briefly, I just wanted to kind of throw out there for the winter to discussion on the snow and ice contracts for the
Yeah.
towns
right,
and what we plan on doing with those.
okay,
Because that'll affect manpower and how I set up my plow runs. Quite honestly, the 2 that really would affect us and getting them back would be Chatham and Ankrum. That would be 2 complete runs. Ankrum, which I'm pretty sure Jimmy Miller's already said he'd be glad to give us back that mountain. But that would allow us to keep 8 men and 4 trucks in Copeg. Right now it's 5. We'll be losing 2 men, 1 truck down there because we'll be losing the Route 82 and we'll be losing 22. So we'll be losing 2 trucks down there with the state runs. And the other one's the town of Chatham, County Route 13. And what that would do would be allow us to keep 2 trucks in New Lebanon without taking that run back we would only have one truck in New Lebanon,
Mhm.
and we would not be able to, it wouldn't make sense for us to try and run that truck out again. It's just too far in response time. Everybody knows Lebanon snows. You know, it starts snowing up there in October, and
Yeah.
most of the time right through April, we're getting snow up there. So, so you're looking at 2 trucks, 4 employees, which as it stands right now would work out just about right where we're at with the manpower, with the openings that we have that we're not filling.
Okay.
So
Have you talked to Chatham about pulling that contract from them?
I haven't talked to,
Donnell is on
He's
the line,
on.
is he not?
Denal?
Yeah, I'm here.
Are you aware of that?
No, I wasn't. And I'll give Joe Rickard, our highway superintendent, a call tonight.
Okay.
It's imperative to the county that happens.
oh, on our end, it would make a lot better sense for us to do it with the manpower that we have up in New Lebanon.
Just to stagger your trucks and put 2 out there.
Correct. Yeah, because the roads that are up there right now would be a little much for just one truck. And like I said, to kind of run anything out of another outpost up there with the amount of time that they spend out would not really make a lot of sense.
And just to
However-
give you some history, Donnell, you know, over the last 2 years, we've been giving up the state contracts for where the county used to plow a lot of the state roads. And in giving up those contracts, we had kind of made plans that both manpower wise and financially wise, if we gave up those state contracts, that the county would probably take back at least some of the roads that they had been doing. So we have kind of earmarked this, you know, a couple years ago. We talked about it just roughly, but maybe not formally yet. So I know you're new to the scene though.
Was that off the top of my head, like 16,000?
Do you remember what they're,
I don't remember, but it's probably roughly between 16 and 18,000, depending on the winter.
Yep.
Yep.
All right, well, I'll let Joe know.
okay,
Okay. So, yeah, I just want to discuss it because
Yeah.
we already got to kind of start planning because
yeah,
let go of trucks that are going to become spares and trucks that are. And of course, once we start with the union and, I mean, right now it says in the contract, everybody is assigned either, a driver's seat or a wing seat.
mhm.
And if we end up with extra guys, which, boy, it's my last couple weeks ago, and that's not gonna happen anyways, so. But that's a whole other story. But yeah, I just kind of want to discuss it tonight and just kind of put it in everybody's ear. And we still got a little bit of time, but everybody knows winter seems to creep up pretty quick.
Yeah, all this heat is here, but it'll go quickly.
Yeah. Anything else on that? Anybody got any questions? I don't know where to look. I'm looking at.
Yeah, I know,
The camera is here.
Oh, okay. I was looking everywhere but there.
Right, yeah. You want to look at the screen though, don't you?
I know, that's what I was doing. I got 2 resolution requests, and I don't have my glasses. The first one is authorization to declare truck 49 a 2001 Ford F-550 dump as surplus and sell it in our line auction.
Move it. Jim Guzzi.
Got a motion? Do we have a second?
Kathy Eldridge, second.
Second, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
And the second one, and I hope I wrote this up right, authorization for the Board of Supervisors to appoint Tim Nixon to the Columbia County Traffic Safety Advisory Board.
This is a position to fill because it's not a paid position, it's a volunteer position, but it does need to be a county employee, and the person that had doing it has retired, so.
I'll move it.
I'll move it. This is Peter.
Motion, second?
Kathy.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
And that's all I got. Thank you.
You got any questions for Tony?
Yeah, I have a question.
Yep.
Tony is Supervisor Sterling. I had a question from someone about Gibbons Road. They said it was repaved and they didn't feel like it needed it. And I don't see anything about repaving Gibbons Road.
Gibbons Road? That would be a town road.
Is that in Stuyvesant? We have a Gibbons Road in Stuyvesant that they
Yeah.
just did stone topping to, but
Okay, so I'll tell her to talk to you.
Yeah.
yeah. And, stone topping is a process in which, that often, it's a sealing process. Yes, it was paved a few years ago and then they do stone topping. Tony can explain it better, but, so it didn't look like it needed repaving, but it's a sealing process.
Yep.
Okay, I'll tell her, because it's like, oh, the county's wasting all this money. It didn't didn't have any
Yeah, no,
pot.
the town just did Gibbons Road in Stuyvesant, so that's, one of the ones we just did. So
Miami
Okay.
County.
call me or call the highway
My
superintendent.
favorite thing to say, that's a town road.
That's a town road. We usually send them to the county. It's a county road.
I love saying that. Or state road.
Right?
Yeah, state road, yeah. We got a lot of complaints when they were doing 23.
Yeah.
God, they're yelling at us left and right. Got nothing to do with it.
My God, the facilities are.
So much fun.
Okay, thanks so much.
All right, thank you. All right, who we got next?
Facilities.
Facilities is up next.
Alrighty, just gonna go through some of the major, the bigger projects we've had. The Board of Elections renovation is basically complete. They moved in, so freed up the committee room, and we're in the process of repurposing the veterans' old room. I believe it's gonna be there. Can't remember what the BMS room from the second floor. Down at 325, the DA, we've had to go through, he tore down some walls, soundproof walls, moved him into another office, and as of yesterday, it was complete, but I met with him, so we're not. There'll be more to do. Yeah. 610, the note says has in process of installing an AC unit in the basement. That just got complete. The reason why we had to do it, Rob Lopez was going through, like, some equipment was getting burned up because of the heat. The air conditioner that was in there wasn't suitable for it, so we had to add another one. This way we'll save it, and I know they may be moving out to the fire training center, but we will be able to repurpose this air conditioner if we ever need it. So that's why I had to put that in. Courthouse, we had to reset the bluestone stairway to the entrance into the courthouse. I'm meeting with a Bostic rep to discuss certain products needed for maintaining this bluestone and other projects. It seems to be that the bluestone has to be sealed, and we may not have, the original installation may not have been done correct, so they're gonna help us out with that and explain what products we should be using so this problem doesn't happen again. Let's see here. The public safety building, we do a grant through OFA. We're putting in a backup freezer out behind the jail along with their cooler. This way, in the event something happens with the jail freezer, we can utilize that also instead of trying to scurry and transport back and forth. And this is all being done through grant funds. Our labor and well, the highway did a lot of work for us there, so all their labor and equipment, will be all reimbursed through the grant fund. So we're working on the electric now, so we should have that done by week's end.
Do we ever get a generator backup for that yet? I was wondering, are we connected into one?
What was that?
A generator backup.
Generator
For
backup
the
for that?
OFA nutrition site?
Yeah,
No.
okay.
No, they do have grant money. I'm probably gonna buy a generator specifically for them. And
Right,
eventually I'm just gonna go out there and probably get everything they need into one box, so it's gonna be a simple tap.
right.
But for now, yeah, their grant money, they told me, I don't think would cover a huge expense like that.
Right.
So why we didn't, go that route.
That's all right. I know we talked about it, so I was just wondering.
Yep. So,
Was the pump clogged again? I see that up on top. It was-
yeah, I had the only message I got was, usually John sends me a message and, Ed Harkins probably had to go out there and clear. I think both of them possibly were that day. But other than that, I haven't seen nothing lately, so. Because he usually sends me a message, so then I call Ed to go out there. So.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, maybe whatever was said possibly could be working, but we'll see.
All right.
Just a quick update on the Smart Walk project. They have probably about 9 more heat pumps up in the attic to be installed. They're working in 2 different sections now, some in the boiler room and some upstairs in the attic. I figure probably by the end of next month, everything will be installed and commissioned by then. The heat pumps are an issue with the attic. It's a very tough working environment up there for, getting them where they go, and these guys are working pretty good. We had to install a temporary work trailer for our guys, so because they were kicked out of the boiler room, so we took care of that. So that project's is moving pretty good. Up at the fire training center, they're anticipating having classes next week. The project's not going to be done by then, but we should be far enough for them to have classes inside. So we're close to most of the door frames just came, so we got to paint them. The wainscoting just so we're going to keep on it for the next probably at least another month. So there's plenty of work to do as stuff comes in. So, but it's turning out pretty good.
Ron, in regard to the fire training tower,
Yeah.
I know the other day we talked about natural gas. Did you ever get a chance to look into that again after we discussed it, or?
No, not since you and I spoke the other day. I was still trying to get from somebody where the borders were. I wanted to see it on a map, but we had been told originally when we reached out to them that we couldn't get to that. And I'm not sure, Jimmy, as far as this burn center goes, I don't know that would accommodate our needs either. You got to see the gas piping that they've had to do out there, this LP setup. They're actually, typically we're running, LP gas vapor when it comes to the house. You may have high pressure gas coming in at 5 pounds of pressure or something. They're running 20 pounds of liquid to this building.
Wow.
So it's a whole different thing than, I'm not sure that natural gas could accommodate that. That Vern building may have to be LP anyway. Yes, the building could be heated with natural, but.
All right.
So yeah, I'm still gonna ask some questions because I'm not so sure that we couldn't get natural gas to that site if we ever wanted to do a new nutrition center there. It might be able to go to the far end of that because that's where the border is someplace in there, but.
So the propane and all that amount of propane that we're going to be going through, that's going to run into a pretty good sized bill. Where is that? Are we paying for that, or is there a grant money?
That's going to be coming out of the fire coordinator's budget.
Okay.
And I don't know that he budgeted enough this year for it, but I'm sure they will be preparing for it.
Okay.
And again, this is something that's going to be shared by all of the fire companies. I don't know. We can have a chat with George about how they're going to work that out. But yes, I could imagine they could use some fuel up there.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you, Ron.
Yeah.
Like a lot of the heating that's going to be done there is also through the heat pumps
Right.
throughout the building. So
Oh,
the only thing left,
yes.
propane wise, is out in the main,
Yeah,
area.
those unit heaters we put in.
Unit heaters, yeah. So I think we've been keeping them at 55. So I mean, losing that much space may help out.
Yeah, no, you're not going to use an awful lot of propane in the building for heat, but they will for that burn center, depending on how often they do that.
Yeah.
But Tony, with your fireman's hat on, I mean, I think that's quite a wonderful resource out
Oh,
there.
absolutely.
I don't know how much you've seen of it, but
Yeah, I did a walkthrough of it.
yeah,
It's
pretty impressive.
Pretty impressive. The fact that you can gas burns, you can do smoke burn,
Yeah.
hay, and you can do them both together. It's very well laid out.
Yeah,
But yeah, I can imagine it'll burn through some,
yeah,
between the building and the
the
car
car,
fire
yeah.
simulator. Yeah.
right.
Looking forward to it.
But yeah, I do look forward to getting everybody out there for a field trip pretty soon, to see what's going on. It's a very nice facility, and I wanted to go back and touch on Smart Lot too, I did take a tour there the other day, and both, the windows are pretty much done at the garage out there. That's a nice improvement. Guys say that it does give them some shade inside that filters out some sunlight there. It's a help there. It's going to filter out a lot. It's going to keep a lot of heat in the wintertime too. But the contractors that are working at the jail with the new rooftops and heat pumps and stuff, the workmanship is very good. Smart Lot's been continuing to stay on budget for us and do a great job. So I got good things to say about them.
Yeah, they were great at our building.
Yeah.
We had a couple changes too midway that,
Yeah.
they put an opening window in
Yeah,
the wrong place and they
They worked
fixed
with you,
it. And, yeah, they were great.
all right. Is that it for you, Brian?
Yeah, that's it. for me.
Anybody got questions for Brian? If not, we'll move on to Dean and Engineering. You had no resolutions, Brian?
No.
All right, I'll touch on a couple of the major federal aid bridge and highway projects that we're working on right now. County Road 18, our Fish and Game Road Highway reconstruction out in Clover. We are currently progressing final design and right-of-way acquisition phase tasks. Formal right-of-way acquisition compensation offer letters were sent out in November to the 20 affected property owners, and successful negotiations with 17 of the 20 property owners have now been completed. Unfortunately, we have not been able to come to agreement with 3 of the affected property owners in order to complete the right-of-way acquisition phase and move the project ahead towards its construction. We are strongly recommending the county move forward with the eminent domain action to acquire these last 3 parcels. We've tried everything we could think of to get these folks to agree to the right-of-way acquisition, and we just we can't come to an agreement with them. We've exhausted everything, and that's our only option left. And
Hey, Dean, I think I asked this once before, but these last 3 properties, how much are we talking that they have to give up? I mean, is there a large amount of land we're talking here or not?
No, Jim, they're de minimis strips. A couple of the landowners have lengthy property along the highway, but the strips are generally 5 to 10 feet wide. 90% of it is farmland. They're large parcels, but these folks, the one gentleman, we appraised the property at, I think it was $2,500. He wants $250,000, and he will not budge from that offer. So, that's just, there's just no way we could ever pay that kind of money. I wouldn't give him $250,000 for the whole 60-some acres that he owns.
You're looking for an easement, or we're looking to purchase that property?
It's
Build shoulders.
It's a combination of permanent easements, temporary easements, and fee acquisitions, depending on what the purpose of the particular taking is. But very de minimis takings. We're not taking anybody's house down. We're not taking anybody's front lawn off or anything like that. One property, the property owner has for years planted shrubs and trees in our right of way, and that's always been a problematic area there. There's no room for a shoulder there, so we're going to replant all of that stuff. But that person just has never been in agreement with the project to begin with, going back 7 or 8 years. And
I did hear from one of the property owners the other day. They wondered, why isn't it getting done?
yeah, we hear a lot of that.
Yeah,
But,
right.
but these 3 individuals have. We just cannot come to an agreement with them. So our only option left is eminent domain.
Thank you. Thanks.
Questions on this resolution? This is a little different process because we've already been kind of working through the federal aid portion of this to a degree. Rob, do you want to speak on that, or do we need to do this in executive session?
No, I mean, if you wanted to get into the details of the process, we can do that in open session. Resolution prepared by RK, Mr. Height is an expert in eminent domain proceedings. We had a conference call with Dean, my office, his office, and the engineers involved, and it relates only to the 3 owners and 4 parcels. One owner owns 2 parcels, and what we need to do to take those parcels to complete the project. In essence, reviewing the eminent domain procedure law, you'll see references in the resolution to the EDPL. That's what that is. It's actually, there are exemptions so that the Board of Supervisors would not have to have a public hearing, but the legal action for the taking could go forward, and that's what they've recommended. So it's a simplified process as to what we're normally used to with eminent domain, and because it's a necessary highway improvement project, there's no shoulders. We shouldn't have any problems with it. As with typical eminent domain, it would be a petition filed in court. The property owners would have an opportunity to respond in court, and because it's eminent domain for a public purpose, we would be able to take the lands and go forward with the project, and if the owners wanted to challenge values, that would be a later court process. In essence, that's what the resolution covers, and it recites all the statutory requirements. It basically is a history of what's been done, the attempts that have been made, and why it's necessary to do the project. If anybody has any questions, I can address them.
If there's no questions, we'll take a motion to approve this resolution.
We need a motion, guys.
Here.
Motion, Menudo.
Motion, second. All in favor?
We didn't have a second.
Oh, didn't have a second? I thought you had a second from Mike.
No, he made a motion.
Oh, he made a motion. Did Kathy say something?
This is pink.
I'll do the second, yes.
Okay, Kathy seconded it. Then I'll say all in favor.
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried.
Get back to your agenda here.
There you go, Dean. We can nudge that project along. It's only been, how many years has that project been?
About 7 or 8 years now.
Yeah.
Yeah. For a lot of different reasons, but.
Yep, right.
Okay, that sounds good. Thank you, guys. County Route 7A, the Copake Hamlet Reconstruction Project, Copake. DPW has selected Greenman Peterson Incorporated, also known as GPI, an engineering firm out of Albany for the design of this project, and we are negotiating the project's design, work scope, and fee, and we're almost complete with that process, and we anticipate bringing a resolution request to the August committee meeting, Public Works Committee meeting, asking for approval of the design and right-of-way incidental phase contract for that next highway project, federally aided highway project. 80% federal, 15% state, 5% county. Both the Fish and Game Road and the Copake Hamlet project, that's the funding ratios for those. Typical federal transportation funding ratio. Our Bridge New York program, County Route 21 over a tributary to the Agawam Creek up in Hillsdale, North Hillsdale. Construction of the new bridge at this location began Monday, June 15th by William J. Keller and Sons, with completion of the new structure anticipated for the October-November timeframe. This Bridge New York project is funded via an approximate 75% New York State, 25% county funding ratio. Work progressed to date by Keller is establishment of the off-site detour and demolition of the existing large culvert structure, substructure excavation, and the installation of the foundation piles, which are steel H piles. We've also completed most of the concrete forming for the footings on each side of the new structure. So the only delay we've had in that project is actually getting reinforcing steel. Been a 2-week delay so far, but I understand from my visit out there today that the steel is coming tomorrow morning. So it's been a little bit of a holdup in finishing the footings, but that's COVID related from what I hear. There are certain construction materials out there that are just in short supply apparently. So, but otherwise we're still doing very well with that project as far as construction progress. Valley View Road over the Bass Fish Brook and Copake. Our design consultant Barton LaJudas from Albany has progressed field survey and mapping this past winter, and some limited environmental tasks were also progressed in the wintertime. Preliminary design, other environmental tasks, and the overhead utility relocation coordination tasks are being progressed this summer. We expect to let the construction contract probably next fall and go to construction in the spring of 2022. Although called a Bridge New York project, this bridge work is actually funded by 95% federal and 5% county shares. Our county-funded, locally funded bridge program, our Hollowville Bridge and our Millenville Paper Mill Bridge projects, which are under construction right now. Let me get on the right page here. Full replacement of our Hollowville Bridge carrying County Route 16 over the Hollowville Creek in Clovervic began on Monday, April 6th. At Roxbury Road, the substructure rehabilitation is complete. The new bridge steel beams were installed and the new concrete deck was poured and is currently curing. At County Route 16, the new abutments have been completed. The new steel I-beams were installed in early June and the new concrete deck was poured on Wednesday, July 15th, which was last week. Both projects should be complete and the road was reopened during the late summer of this year. On schedule and on budget. Westaconic Bridge and the Woodward Bridge over on County Route 7 in Gallatin. The design phase for those. Preliminary design, utility coordination, and the environmental permitting task for the reconstruction of these two structurally deficient county bridges continues by design engineers Clark Patterson Lee of Albany, New York. Also, construction coordination meetings for these two future bridge replacement projects with their respective local stakeholders, the adjacent landowners, fire, EMS providers, etc., continues. Lastly, our 2020 multi-bridge element specific repair contract execution with Town and County Bridge and Rail Corp of Albany, New York is now underway. Those contracts are at the county attorney's office, and the pre-construction meeting with TCBR was delayed from yesterday. We're going to be holding it tomorrow. Repair work on 5 high-priority bridge locations will be accomplished this summer and fall under this annually performed repair and maintenance contract. And that's all I have. Been a busy summer.
Good for you. Keeping the projects chipping along. Are there any questions for Dean?
Absolutely.
Any questions in general you want to bring to the Public Works Committee? Not sure who's there, who's not there.
They're all there. You see them on the screen.
Kind of like.
Oh, now I do, yeah.
We're listening.
I know, right?
We thought everybody fell asleep out there.
That's right, yeah.
I want to see the Chatham supervisor fire up that tractor.
Yeah.
I will in 2 minutes. I got 10 more acres to bale tonight. Oh, wait, I shouldn't say 2 minutes. However long it takes to get through this meeting. I'm sorry.
2 minutes sounds good.
Well, that looks more important than our meetings. Well, then I'll entertain a motion to adjourn so we can go bale some eggs.
Motion
Thank you,
adjourned.
everyone.
Thank you.
Second.
Second.
Second, all in favor?